Hello and welcome to another video on the JJ Think Tank. Another nighttime session, but a serious nighttime session. This will be a serious video, and the topic of my video will be narcissism. Yes, and the title of my article here is Musings on Unhealthy Narcissism, Boundaries and Relationships. And I don't know about you, the viewer, but I am of the opinion that individual and collective narcissism is growing across the West. People in general are becoming more and more narcissistic, self-centered, selfish, and because of this, a lot of problems are arising in society. Societies are becoming fractured and fragmented, and I would even argue that reality is becoming fragmented and fractured because of this collective and individual narcissism that we now have in the West. Perhaps I may be exaggerating. Of course, I'm speaking from my experience. I'm revealing my thoughts, my personal history as well. I will talk a little bit about myself. But yes, I believe the situation is not too great, really. Obviously, it can improve. I'm not a doomer. Definitely not a doomer. I refuse to accept the black pill because I think this is a cop-out. We should always strive to improve our society and hope for a better future. But nonetheless, I appreciate the black pillars, the doomers, because they, like myself, they pick up on the things that I also pick up on. Yes. So, for instance, when it comes to the economy and the society, we can think of Aaron Clary. So Aaron Clary is a YouTuber. He's also known as Cappy, and he talks about various issues in the West. But specifically, when it comes to narcissism, the two thinkers I rate the most are Sam Vaknin and Richard Grannon. So Richard Grannon is a man from Liverpool, and he makes a lot of videos about narcissism, about narcissistic abuse, about the problems in our society in the UK. And Sam Vaknin also talks about this. He talks about the wave of narcissism that is spreading across Western civilization. But also he is, in my opinion, more intelligent than Richard Grannon, and he talks about other topics because other subjects. He has a very interesting background, and his life was he had a really an up and down life, and because of this, he's got a lot of interesting insights about economics, about physics, even. So he was a physicist, about narcissism, which is his speciality, about psychology, about the mind, how the mind is the most complex thing to exist in the universe. Each person has an individual mind that is so complex that it's beyond belief, really. And the more we think about the mind, the scarier it gets, but also the more beautiful, yes, things become. Really. So, but anyway, let's go into my article now. Let's talk about this unhealthy narcissism and what we can do to mitigate the situation. So what are the core signs of narcissism? Narcissism, it can be boiled down to these bullet points here: a sense of grandiosity, a need for admiration, a lack of empathy, manipulative behavior, entitlement, fragile self-esteem, exploitativeness, and superficial relationships. This is I think, a good overall summary of narcissism. The core signs of narcissism, both within us and when it comes to our relationships, yes? But now I think it's important to distinguish between negative narcissism, pathological narcissism, and healthy narcissism. So we all have a healthy form of narcissism, because after all, if we weren't narcissistic in a positive sense, we would be frightened to confront the world. We would lack the confidence to go out there to try and achieve things and to make improvements in the world, yes? But the problem with narcissism is that it can quickly tilt into the opposite direction. It can quickly tilt to the opposite direction, and as a result, things can turn very awry. Yes, things can escalate quickly. And sorry, that's just my dog making a noise. It's annoying. Yes, things can escalate quickly in a negative way. Yes, so we need to be aware of our narcissism, both the healthy aspects and the negative aspects. Yes. So anyway, let's go into my article now. So Sam Vaknin, as I alluded to, he is the preeminent researcher when it comes to narcissism and narcissistic abuse, and this is what he wrote. The true self is a healthy, normal, boundaried structure. So this is important. Boundaried. It's whole. It's concrete. It's boundaried. Yes. It doesn't dissipate. It's a concrete whole. Yes. The full self is spectral. The full self, conversely, annexes and consumes the world. And this is a brilliant description of what a true self is and what the false self is. And so, without a doubt, in the West we have this rise in narcissism, because people want to one-up each other. They constantly want to rise up in the hierarchy. They want to show that they are the top dog, that they've got all the power, all the money, etc. And this is based on this cult of individualism in the West, which is perpetuated by a negative form of capitalism, and so we have these problems, yes, now in society. I don't know how it is in other countries. I don't know whether the same is the case in China, in Russia, in Poland. Well, I've spent more time in Poland, and perhaps in Poland it might be better. I don't know. I need to stay a bit longer to really assess the situation. In Russia as well, I'm not sure. I think in Russia maybe less so, because they have a history of collectivism, and in general people are poorer there. They have lower incomes, and so I don't think it's really such a big deal over there. But of course, always there will be individual narcissists everywhere. It's because partly it's genetic. I believe it's genetic. The source of narcissism is genetic, but also we are influenced by our environment and our upbringing, and this can also cause a rise in narcissism. So yes, I won't repeat what I said here. This is what I wrote down, that we need a healthy form of narcissism, but also we need to be self-aware and not fall into a negative form of narcissism. So now I'll go into some personal history. I won't reveal any details, but I believe I have come. I've been in contact with a lot of narcissists in my life. Really, in some ways, I don't want to portray myself as a victim, but I believe in some ways I'm a magnet for narcissists. I believe. Partially this is of my own fault, of my own doing, because I was weak. Maybe I didn't set firm boundaries. I was lost. I didn't really know who I was. And so I was the prey of narcissists, really. But then at the same time, because we're all part of this kind of toxic culture, this toxic society, we also pick up on these negative traits, yes, behaviors. So I did notice that I also was a bit, a bit of a narcissist, really, in a bad sense. I had these, negative traits, we could say. I don't think I have a personality disorder, but I do have perhaps some negative traits that I'm working on to heal. I'm observing myself, and I think I'm on the way. I'm on the right path. I'm healing, and obviously this takes a long time. Yes, reaching our true selves, our real selves. It's a long, difficult, and elaborate process, as I wrote down here. And so patience is required. We need to be patient with ourselves and be positive in our thinking. So, how do we heal? How do we heal ourselves now? So let's go a bit deeper, because I said, oh, it's possible to heal, but how? How exactly? So this is from my experience. This is from my experience. So first and foremost, after any crises that we have in our lives, any crisis, it forces us to undergo a deep introspection, a really deep introspection. We need to realize what we're doing wrong. We need to notice the way in which we conduct our relationships, whether we are too soft or perhaps too aggressive, etc. This is the first step, I think. So deep introspection. Here, obviously, we can think of meditation, mindfulness, prayer. Improving our habits, and so forth. So here I wrote down, let's remove the habits that hold us back in this regard. So I guess this is kind of linked to introspection, yes. But then the next point is very important. We have to follow our conscience, because as I've grown older, I've realized that the conscience, that little silent voice within, is really our only guide in this world. Because now all the institutions are collapsing, the church is collapsing, the state, the family, and we are left really to our own devices. Obviously, we need to reverse this trend, but for the time being, it seems like people will be on their own, right? This process is taking place, and so our conscience is a good guide, I think, and it will never let you down, really, I believe. So I think this is key. The next point, we must maintain firm and healthy boundaries. This is what I wrote down, between ourselves and others. This is probably either the most important point, the most important action to take, or the second most important action after following our conscience, I would say. Because when you don't set firm boundaries, healthy boundaries, in the long run you lose out. You become a people pleaser, and then because you're a people pleaser, you start to resent yourself, really. And when you resent yourself, you start to hate others. Yes, you don't have a good sense of self-love towards yourself. And this is key. This is key, because when we're able to do this, we can have healthier relationships, yes, with our loved ones, with our close family members, of our friends, or any acquaintances that we meet, yes. So this is the second main step to take. And then lastly, I would argue that researching and understanding the topic of narcissism itself, it goes a long way to to becoming aware of the fact that perhaps we may have been on the receiving end of narcissistic abuse, but also to notice that perhaps we also are, well, in some sense, narcissists, yes, quote unquote. We exhibit narcissistic traits, yes, narcissistic behaviors. We may not have a personality disorder, but we have these traits, yes. This is an important distinction, because having a personality disorder and just having like certain behaviors or traits, there's a massive difference there. And obviously, if you have a personality disorder, then I mean, yes, I feel sorry for you. But it's still possible to improve your behavior. It's still possible to improve your behaviors, your personality, but it's probably much more difficult. And I guess the older you get, the more set you are in your ways, and it's harder, to reverse the trends. So now, who are the best thinkers to find out more about narcissism? So I already mentioned them: Richard Grannon and Sam Vaknin. They are the top two. But there really is there's a lot of content on YouTube about narcissism, and it shows, and the content gets a lot of views. So this shows that this is a problem. This clearly is a problem. Narcissism, narcissistic abuse is a problem. There are a lot of narcissists out there: covert narcissists, overt narcissists, psychopathic narcissists. There's so many different types of narcissism. I won't go into detail now because you've got the experts out there to show you the information, yes. And I think this topic is important because we want our societies to become healthy again, and if they don't, then civilization could collapse. I mean, it's looking like that at the moment. The birth rates are plummeting. Men and women aren't pair bonding. Families aren't being formed. And I mean, on another level, perhaps civilization might not collapse because obviously you've got the rise of AI and robots. So thankfully, the situation could be mitigated in that regard. But we want more humans on this planet as well, right? So yes, I think that's all for today with this video. It was a serious video, serious topic, and I'd like to finish my video with this quote. And this is a quote from Richard Grannon, and it goes as follows: the narcissist. So the narcissist has been living in denial of their humanity and normal, vulnerable feelings for so long that there is an entire lifetime of unexpressed, repressed emotions rotting in the depths of their psyche or their psyche. This is why they cannot stand to be alone. Richard Grannon. I think that's a brilliant quote from him. I think he's a good man. He's a good soul. He's from Liverpool. I know Scouse as well. I lived in Liverpool for 4 or 5 years. And I love the Scouse spirit. They love freedom. They've got good hearts, good souls, and yeah, I guess Richard Grannon is an expression of this. So yes, that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something interesting. I hope you found some valuable information. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. It will help me grow the channel and spread more vital information. And if it's possible as well, I would appreciate it greatly if you perhaps donated something to my Buy Me a Coffee page. So I'll provide a link in the description. Any donations will help me grow the channel and make more videos. So yes, that's all from me. As the night descends, it's the end of my video, and take care. Good night.